at Muslims and Jews, and we look at Israel, for example, would it be fair to say that Muslims hate Jews because they are Jewish?
No.
No. Would it be fair to say that Jews hate Muslims because they are Muslim?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, I argue. You say yes. Why would you assume that Jews hate Muslims because they are Muslims?
Because they say it.
Because they say it.
Yeah.
Well, many Muslims also say they hate Jews because they are Jewish.
No. No, because I don't have one.
Money.
My friend, if we look at the argument, the contentions that exist between Jews and Muslims in Palestine, the argument is not about you're Jewish or you're Muslim. It is an issue of land. The Jewish people, the Zionist movement, have stolen the land from the people, and that is what the Palestinians are angry about. The Palestinians are not xenophobic.
Yeah.
They don't hate Jews because they're Jewish.
Of course.
They have an angst, they have an anger, a frustration against Zionism. And Zionism is different from Judaism. Judaism is a religion. Zionism is an ideological belief. A belief that the land of Palestine belongs to them. Now, any rational thinking human being can just put the facts down and see that this is nonsense. It is a lie. It is a fabrication. My friends, Israel, let's not delude ourselves. Israel exists because of what took place in Europe with the Nazis, with the Germans. The Germans persecuted you Jewish people, and other Europeans persecuted you. It wasn't just the Germans who killed Jews. The Ukrainians killed Jews. The Russians killed Jews. The Hungarians killed Jews. The Poles killed Jews. The French persecuted the Jewish people. The English knew about the persecution of the Jewish people. It is because of the crimes that Europeans committed against Jews why they gave away the land of Palestine. They gave away the land of Palestine. It was Germans that killed Jews. And I believe the Jewish people deserve a homeland.
It's what God said.
The Jewish people deserve a homeland because of the persecution that they underwent in Europe.
But not in Palestine.
But if you're going to give them a homeland, give them Germany. Give them France. In fact, give them England. But leave Brixton alone. Leave Southall alone and Edgware Road alone. They've got no right to the land of Palestine. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Have you ever considered?
You lift and you come back.
Hold on, my friend. Everyone has the right. We can have an exchange.
Have you ever
Dialogue. Yes, sir.
Have you ever considered the unnaturalness of Adolf Hitler's hatred of the Jews? That even at the very critical hours of the last Second World War, he was sending Jews to the death.
Of course.
Right? Rather than send troops and ammunition to the front, which would be the normal thing to do,
Yes.
he was sending the Jews in the same train that he could have saved his army
Yes.
to the death camp. That's why.
He says Hitler was killing Jews, and he would have rather sent ammunition, which was much needed to fight the war, to kill Jews, than to fight their war.
No, I was saying he said they sent the train that could have sent out.
Oh, sending the trains to the death camps. Now, sir, all I want to debate is using logic. Nothing more, no less. And I totally respect you. We all have this right. However, I believe that Adolf Hitler has got a really unfair rap over history. I think it's unfair, all of this attention on Hitler, because I think the Western Europeans who target Hitler, who demonize Hitler, I don't think these Europeans have looked in the mirror too often, because Hitler's crimes was no different than that of Britain. Hitler wanted an empire like the British. If it was wrong for Hitler to invade France, it was wrong for the British to invade Africa. If it was wrong for Hitler to invade Russia, it was wrong for the British to invade India. If it was wrong for Hitler to invade Poland, it was wrong for the British to invade the Middle East. In 1890, 10 million Indians died of a famine, starvation, caused by the British. How many times do you recognize that as a Holocaust? But the British people always exonerate themselves from their own evil.
No, can I answer?
Please do.
Firstly, if God should mark iniquity, none would stand. But the fact of the matter was that Adolf Hitler believed that the truth was what he made it.
Sir!
Hold on a minute, let me answer you. All right. His aim was to set up a master race.
A master race!
That would be the head of all the races.
A master race that will be the head of all the other races.
Hold on a minute.
I'm only repeating so people are back in here.
Fine, okay, right. Right. Secondly, to do that, God says in His Bible,
God says in His Bible,
I have no other authority than the Bible.
He has no other authority, but allow Him.
Whether you accept that authority is no matter, that's mine. God says that He, not the Jews, He will make the Jews not the masters of race, but He will make them the head and not the tail.
Head and not the tail. Okay, pause there. Pause there. He said Hitler believed themselves and his people to be the master race. Where did the concept of that come from? Adolf Hitler was following the eugenics program. The eugenics program was devised right here in Britain, a cousin of Charles Darwin. He was the one who determined the whole concept of the master race. It was a British concept, not a German. But you always want to frame the Germans.
No, hold on, firstly. Winston Churchill said after the Second World War, a man who was a damned racist. Listen, I'm not interested in accusations. I've seen what he said. He said that the last empires will not be geographical, they will be here.
Sir,
not mine.
Sir, we started this argument. We started this debate. You came in when I was talking about Hitler.
Yeah, I haven't gone for it.
Let's do it point by point. Because you were saying that Hitler was talking about the master race. I only brought up Adolf Hitler as an example. But let's look at Hitler. Let's look at Germany.
No, firstly,
I'm still on these points.
Firstly, you brought up eugenics and evolution.
Eugenics is the second part.
But evolution does not come from God. What comes from God will lead you to God. The first line of the American Constitution says that it is self-evident that under God, all men are created equal.
You are introducing religion into a logical, rational argument of history. You are actually sermonizing whilst we're actually talking about logical history. Hold on, sir. The point I want to make is this: just by disputing history, we can debate this. When we talk about Hitler's final solution, Hitler's annihilation of the Jewish people, the building of concentration camps. Where did the concept of concentration camps come from? Hold on, sir. Let me enlighten the audience. The concept of concentration camps came from South Africa under the British, under Lord Baden-Powell and the other ones who founded the Boy Scouts, when they said what they were doing was they concentrated the black South African population and the Boers. The idea was to concentrate the civilian population to stop supplies of arms from getting to their enemy. Yet thousands upon thousands of people died of starvation in these camps. That is where the concept of the concentration camp was adopted.
Just because you use the same word concentration does not mean at all that the objective is the same. The man said it himself that the objective of the British, badly done, was to concentrate the Boers mostly so that they could fight the war. The objective of the German Nazi Party was the total annihilation of the Jews.
Okay,
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
Genocide, Holocaust,
Hold on a minute.
I agree with you.
That one idea, take communism, originated, Marx studied in England.
So makes the points brief so we can just address them and move on.
Just because an idea originates anywhere, it doesn't matter whether it's here or anywhere else. The fact of the matter is the danger, whether you embrace it or not. The man said that Adolf Hitler had a bad press. That alone should tell you that he is in some way trying to justify Adolf Hitler, who is totally unjustifiable.
Sir, you said that Adolf Hitler's final solution was absolute as opposed to the concentration of civilians in South Africa. But remember, the British Empire, they said the sun will never set on the British Empire. It covered over 1/3 of the globe. Yet, if we look at some of the other programs of annihilation and genocide practiced by the British outside of South Africa, where? Tell me